Comedy. Comedy is something hard to achieve within the furry fandom. Stray into the obscure and you lose your fan base. Stray into shock humour and you completely ruin your image. This description reminds me truly of only one man, a Mr. 2 Gryphon. He'll be our topic for today. Two Gryphon began his fandom presence by doing stand-up comedy shows at furry conventions in the mid-90s.
Fuck knows, maybe she had kangaroo testicles growing out of her eye socket or something. And they're vegans, and they're Hindu. What are you, fucking mental? I demand you.
He became a guest of honour at many conventions, including Califor Zero, Oaklacon, and was featured heavily in the Anthrocon lineup along with Uncle Kage. But 2 Gryphon is most notably known for going into danger, his opinions being the big iron on his hip. His videos consisted of very opinionated rants.
Restaurant and throw me in a nut house where someone's gonna give me a surprise fuck stab lobotomy and I'd wander around the rest of my life drooling so I couldn't bother people anymore. And you know what? I totally deserve it. I deserve that shit because sane people don't fucking act like that. No one in the restaurant was complaining. I hadn't even tried this.
These garnered him a lot of attention and true facts spitting power, and his channel is still quite large to this day with a lot of active fans. He used to be prominently featured in multiple videos with Corey Coyote, and now fans of 2 Gryphon tend to share his own views, and this brings me to the long fall of his career. A writer put 2's comedy style out perfectly. It's seen as punching down, blaming people for their own sorrow and problems and making fun of it. Let's talk about that. The reason I call this the long fall because unlike a lot of furries that have crippled careers, 2's career slowly bled out over a period of 2 years. I deem this the dark ages. These were about at the end of 2015 to 2018, the fandom enduring a pretty rough civil war because of something awful that had dawned upon us, the outbreak of social justice warriors. This type of Twitter slacktivism, and I call it slacktivism because it is, don't think you're doing any good by posting your stupid fucking fan cams, fucking Stan Luna head ass. But during this time the outbreak caused a wild disorder, a very horrific disease that I like to call American politics. Now, in this time period of late 2016, 2015 to 2018, there was basically Twitter witch hunts trying to expel anyone who even thought differently, and for people purely deemed on the wrong side of politics. During this time, 2 began to make some quite unsavoury comments through Twitter, and his jokes and shock humour simply became unfunny. When this happened, we even seen a video from the very beginning, Ragehound, back in 2017 when they ran their drama download show, speaking out against their stupidity.
I'm pretty sure he's done some legit clubs. I'm sure he's gotten some legit work, but I personally don't find him that funny anymore. And here's why. So 2's big platform is kind of this very in-your-face, like, shock comedy. I love that kind of comedy, but not if it's not funny.
2 had a commenter under his video saying, "I've always had trouble getting to the mindset that I don't take shit from nobody, get over it, but it just so happens that life has a way better way for me that way. People truly do need to man up and where they stand compared to the rest of the world. It's the only way out, and killing yourself won't solve anything. Sure, I'd be happier if people just stop being assholes, but people are hard and nearly impossible to control when it comes to the internet. At least we have the block and report features which come in handy somewhat." 2 replied, "Listen, I hate to say this, but if your only survival instinct on this planet can't make it through some insulting text messages, then you're wasting our air. If you actually choose to end your own life in an attempt to make other people feel sorry, then I have no compassion for you for whatever." Nice. And then some even older comments. "Sorry, no. I feel so much pain that you need to end your life because some other douchebag is calling you bad names that then you deserve to be dead. No other species on this planet ends their own life because of a minor harassment, and the fact that we do just means there's too damn many of us and nature is trying to find a way to get rid of us. If you're thrown into agony over a little bullshit like this, then you are better off killing yourself. Get off this planet and make room for others. First, if I was trying to be hip for the new generation, then why are you crying about it so bad? Obviously that wasn't the reason. Second, we commit suicide because we're intelligent. Yeah, we can see why you haven't done it yet. Jesus, good lord. 2 then replies that he has no compassion for people who attempt to commit suicide to make people feel sorry for them. That's honestly vile. And this wasn't even the first comment. We see a comment from over a year ago. 2 says that if you don't have the capability to get over a hateful comment, then you deserve to be dead. Nice. Another killing blow to 2's career was when he got kicked from Anthrocon. Eventually people realised that his belligerent and stupid humour, making fun of people of all races, genders and sexualities, it's pretty fucking stupid. This was seen as a resounding victory for all but 4 who actually wished to see him at Anthrocon. Ah, we'll support you. Sure thing, furry raiders. Y'all support another thing too. The Raiders have a field day with this one too. Deotaz Devil, a political Twitter personality who caused uproars like this at many cons. Uproar isn't exactly a necessarily bad thing. They've been named for single-handedly taking down RMFC. We'll get into that later. The entire reason I'm even making this video was purely because Gryphon fell back into the limelight with some new stuff. He did a new stream where he declared his independence as a new fandom, no longer the furry fandom, but the anthro fandom, free of all trolls. Trolls are basically people who don't give him free, uncriticised reign over the fandom. I watched the entire 2-hour stream and I'll speak about that now, and I got into more funny tweets afterwards. For the first 5 minutes I partially agree with him. Furry Twitter as a whole is an absolute mess of just pure selectivism.
A lot of people who are, they've mushed their way in there. They're not furries, by the way. They don't really give a crap about what anthropomorphic animals are. I mean, when I started the furry fandom was a very open place, and furries were very open people. And you didn't, when you walked in the door, they didn't say, who'd you vote for? They didn't do that. They didn't care.
Weirdly enough, a lot of stuff he does say about furry Twitter is completely perfect, and I agree with. But that's just for the first 5 minutes. The fandom that Gryphon's trying to create is simply a way for him to make jokes and never receive flack for it. Instead of bettering himself in the eyes of the fandom, he's instead attempting to reroute and create an entirely new fandom. This in turn will factionalise an already factionalised fandom, ruining it for the normal people who don't like furry Twitter, yet don't compare it to 2's weird ideology of the fandom. Now 2, if I'm honest, I must say that you are not the best person to start the fandom. Knowing your previous track record, see, none of us are good to create our own fandom because we don't know and can't do what everyone wants. One side will be a more progressive safe space to be a furry character, and the other wants to be a free-going, non-safe space for people. Both sides are unfortunately represented by American politics, but we will never fix the furry fandom. It will eventually reach a breaking point where it'll end up destroying itself, or certain parts within the fandom will break off and factionalised, like it did in the 90s with the burn furs. Brings me to my next section. Gryphon has made some strange connections. Weirdly enough, what he speaks about in the live stream showed a very weird thing to me. See, I've been doing recent research into this fandom's history for quite a while, and it's how my channel completely got started. How Gryphon speaks about certain aspects of the fandom remind me of the burned furs.
Will you like cartoons? No, not really. Well, why are you here? Oh, I'm here to fuck someone.
This group was a group that wished to rid the fandom of not-for-safe stuff, overly sexual activities. And sure, it sounds good, but what this group actually did was awful, throwing threats of violence, particularly at homosexual attendees at cons, to stop their sinful business practices, and joined them in prayer. This group, after the fandom civil war, ended up becoming something called Improved Anthropomorphics, a conglomerate seeking a much more friendly fandom, which, with the way that Gryphon speaks about a lot of the ideologies that they hold. Another weird connection with the furry raiders. Now I can already hear Gryphon laughing in his chair on stream. You guys didn't know that back in 2007 there was a con created called RMFC, or Rocky Mountain Fur Con. Long story short, a lot of tax irregularities and shadow management from a paedophile in the furry raider. The owner sent a cease and desist letter to Deotaz Devil. Reading this cease and desist letter, we see a number of people mentioned in the cease and desist. One being Gryphon. Reference to that now, the furry raiders openly states on Twitter that they are going to support Gryphon in any way they can. This shows me quite a lot because right beside, on that cease and desist, is the furry raiders. That somehow shows that he has some sort of backdoor into that area, but thanks because of the furry raiders being outed and shown what they really are, they've been kicked out of most conventions and their power has fully been lost. These small connections I'll leave you guys to ponder on. Good night.